Last time we solved the first problem in picoCTF 2018, which was the Forensics Warmup number 1 for 50 points. As we saw, it was very easy and all that was required was some Googling. Googling meaning that if you have little knowledge of computers, networks and Linux, you're still able to figure out what you need to search for. Anyway, this second problem is also very easy, but you might need to think a little outside the box if you are unfamiliar with this type of problem. And we'll get back to why this problem is considered a forensics problem. The question is, for some reason I can't open this PNG. Any ideas? We shouldn't look at the hints, but let's do that anyway. How do operating systems know what kind of file this is? It's not just the ending. Before we begin, let's download the file like we did in the last example. We just click on the PNG here. And as long as we don't tell the system anything, it will download the file into the download folder, at least in Windows and Linux. I assume the same goes for Mac. So we are going to save it and OK. Let's move over to our downloads folder. And we see our file here, flag PNG. The first thing I would do is go in on the properties. And you can see here it says flag.png. And something to notice here is PNG image. So it's an image file. Permissions doesn't really tell us much here, except later on execute might be interesting to follow. Open with. And here the default application is image viewer, another indication that this is an image file. And now we are going to click on it. But just a word of caution. This is a capture the flag competition. Carnegie Mellon University is involved. It is for high school kids. Point being, you can probably click on the file. In real life, if you ever do forensics or reverse engineering malware, don't ever just click on a file if you haven't sandboxed your system and disconnected from the internet and whatnot. But for now, we're going to click on it. And it tells you here, could not load image flag.png. Fatal error, reading PNG image file, and then here's a hint, not a PNG file. And here we are, Google. If we didn't look at the file, the hint told us about endings. So let's Google file endings. What are some examples of file extensions? So here they're using extensions instead of endings. You have probably noticed that when you open a file with a doc ending, Word opens together with the file, or a text editor opens, probably Notepad in Windows if you click on a file with a txt extension. So here it says myreport.txt. In our example we have flag.png. So there is a connection here, and right now PNG doesn't open. The next thing we would do here probably is Google what is a PNG. And it tells you here it's an image type, and at the same time you're getting here what is a PNG and JPEG, which is better, JPEG or PNG. And here it's also talking about JPEG and GIF. So the point is, we're not able to open the PNG, so maybe it's not a PNG file, which we already know because we clicked on the picture. But if we didn't do that, we are getting an indication that the file ending could be wrong and that it could be something else. Now, if you still didn't catch on, the next search in Google would be what are some image extensions, since our last search showed us that PNG is an image type. And then you would try them on the file. PNG is used a lot on the internet, and so is JPEG. So let's try that. We are now back in our downloads folder. We have the flag.png. So let's try to rename it, and we're going to call it flag JPG. Rename. And there it is. Let's click on it. And that is our flag. And here we are back to why this is a forensics problem. If you're sharing a computer with a brother or sister, or you just want the files that mean a lot to you hidden away from others, changing the file extension is one way to do that. Because if someone is looking for example, a text file, they might not check the image files and vice versa, right? For some, that might work. For criminals, that's not such a good idea because this is just too basic for any law enforcement looking through the computer. So what we learned here is that extensions are a lie. And let's try to submit that. So let's try to submit that. Pico and then CTF in capital letters. And we have the bracket. Extensions are a lie. And then closing bracket. And we're going to submit it. And now we have 100 points. Let's update here. Okay, 100 points. And I don't know, some people might look at this as motivation. If I was a lot younger, I certainly would. And let's see if we can. And here we are. So now we have a lot of people in front of us. But we are getting further up there. And this has not updated, but we know it's 100 points. And that's it for now.